All right, so continuing on with liquid measurements. Okay, liquids are a little bit more complicated only because there's a lot of numbers when you look at the label. Okay, as soon as you figure out what numbers are most important, then it becomes easy again. So I'm looking at your instruction sheets, page 10, oral dosages involving liquids, proportion method. All right, so the example says, the physician orders phenobarbital 45 milligrams by mouth 2 times a day. Phenobarbital elixir, remember that's a type of a liquid, 20 milligrams per 5 ml. This is what this means. This little slash is read as per, meaning for every 5 ml of your little cup, all right, so 5 ml, which is, if I find 5 ml on here, way down here, it's very little, okay, way down here. Every time you give a patient a dose of this much, they're getting 20 milligrams of the drug, okay? And that is said right on your label. Contains 20 milligrams phenobarbital per 5 ml, all right? How many milliliters will you give? All right, so the problem here is you're looking at it and you're saying, well, they're ordering 45 milligrams, okay, and I have 20 milligrams per 5 ml. You have to find out the other portion of ml. You know 45 milligrams is what you want. You know 20 milligrams is how it comes. You know 5 ml is how it comes. You don't know how many ml that is. All right, so what you do, as always, this is what you know on the left, what you're trying to find on the right. All right, so what do we know? What we know is not a metric equivalent. What you know when we're talking about liquids is whatever it says on the label, okay? It tells you this, right on the label, it says 20 milligrams per 5 ml. That's what you know. That is your ratio for the left-hand side of your proportion. So 20 milligrams is to 5 ml. Just as, again, we're going to make sure we have milligrams over here is to ml over here, all right? Milligrams was first, ml is second, so ml is second. All right, what do you know? What you know in your diagram here was that 45 milligrams is what the physician ordered. So you know the milligrams. Put in 45. You don't know the ml. That becomes your X. All right. Here's your proportion. You're going to solve it the same way you've done all of them. So get rid of your abbreviations. It makes it a lot less complicated. 20 is to 5, just as 45 is to X. All right. Solve. Here's your X. I'm going to put it on the left. 20X equals 5 times 45. All right, let's see. 20X equals 225. If we have 20 over here, we have to divide by 20 on both sides to get X alone. X alone is 11.25. Use your calculator, take 225 divided by 20, and you end up with 11.25 ml. Now you can go to your dosing cup and look for the 11.25 ml line. Not that you can see it anyway. My 10, now I have a 10 and I have a 15. So this cup would be useless. You would be needing a cup that was labeled differently. And if the medication came this way, then the cup inside would have probably individual 10 ml, 11 ml, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It would probably be labeled that way, okay? Or even by this, it would have to have smaller segments, all right? But that is what you're looking for, okay? So now you have that proportion and you have solved it already. That's it. That's all there is to it, all right? So when you're pouring your cup, you know you just have to go to the 11.25 ml line. Hopefully there's one on there. All right, that's kind of an odd one. Let's try another one. Okay. Example 2. This is on your page 11 of your instruction sheet. The physician orders Thorazine, 20 milligrams by mouth every 4 hours. The drug's available in 120 ml bottles of Thorazine syrup containing 10 milligrams per 5 ml. All right, there's a lot of extra stuff here, and they don't give you the label. But if they did, let's make a label here. If they did, it would say, the name somewhere, Thorazine, and it would say right here, 10 milligrams per 5 ml. And then somewhere on the bottom it would say, as a whole, in this entire bottle, in fact, it probably isn't even on the label, but on the bottle itself, I'm not an artist by any means, somewhere on the bottle, it would tell you that the whole entire bottle has 120 ml, okay? Think about when you get a 2-liter bottle of Coke, and at the bottom of the bottle, it tells you the full 2 liters, okay, contains, all right? Same type of thing here. So the whole entire bottle has 120 milliliters inside of it. The dosage, though, is 10 milligrams per 5 ml. All right, let's go back to our know and trying to find. Okay, you know 10 milligrams, doesn't look like a 10, sorry about that. 10 milligrams per 5 ml. And what you're trying to find, we know, let's see, he orders 20 milligrams. All right, so we know he wants 20, or she wants 20 milligrams. We don't know how many ml that is, so our ml is X, all right? Let's get rid, and I check to see milligram comes first on the right, ml is second on the left, gonna be second on the right, okay? Now let's get rid of our abbreviations. 10 is to 5, just as 20 is to X. Means equals the extremes. 10 times X is 10X. 5 times 20, 10x equals 100. Divide over here to get 1x, so I have to divide by 10. I'm going to divide by 10 here. X is equal to 10 ml. That is a much more realistic dosage, okay? 10 ml on a little cup, you can find 10 ml, and 10 would be right here, okay? Probably, maybe a third of the cup or so, okay? But it's clearly labeled 10 ml. So you would pour in 10 ml because you'd have to give that much volume, 10 ml, to get 20 milligrams worth of the medication, okay? That's it. What's left here though? It says, the second part of the question said, how many doses are available in the whole bottle, okay? Say you were the person who orders, okay? Or not, you probably wouldn't be that, but let's say you were giving someone a dosage and you saw that you were getting, when you went to give the bottle, you took the bottle out and you saw, oh, there's not too much left here. How many doses are left, I wonder? You want to figure out how many doses is in the whole bottle. Maybe you're going to leave a note and say, we're almost out of this and we're going to need, the patient needs, per his chart, this one says every 4 hours. You have to make sure there's enough medication there. So if we're trying to find how many dosages are in that whole entire 120 milliliter bottle, that needs a different proportion. All right, so what do we know? We know that 10 ml, which we just figured out, was 1 dose, right? Okay, so 10 ml is how much you're giving every time you give 1 dose of that medication to the person, to the patient. You want to know how many doses you have in this a whole 120 ml. So you know that you have 120 ml, but you don't know how many doses you are going to get out of that. Okay, there's your equation, or your proportion, excuse me. ml first on the left-hand side, ml first on the right. Again, I'm looking at this, dividing left and right, of course. 1 dose on the left, you have to have dose second on the right. Okay, get rid of your abbreviations. 10 is to 1, just as, 120 is to x. Means to the extremes, 10 times x is 10x. 1 times 120 is 120. If you have 10x here, we want to find 1. We're going to divide both by 10. X equals, and if you divide 120 by 10, you're going to come out to 12. 12 doses in the whole entire bottle. So you know that when you go to give the patient this medication, and you're pouring and there's not much left in here, and you know that patient is going to need 4 doses tomorrow, you better let someone know that they need to order another bottle so this patient doesn't run out by tomorrow. Okay? All right, and that is that. Let's do one last liquid medication problem that is not on your instruction sheet. We'll do one more just to make sure you understand. All right. Doctor's ordered, say that she wants Atarax Atarax 30 milligrams by mouth twice a day. The drug is supplied in a syrup that contains 10 milligrams for every 5 ml. All right, how many ml will you administer? Okay, so what we know versus what we're trying to find. Okay, we know 10 milligrams is equal to 5 ml. All right, every time you give 5 ml in your little cup, you're giving 10 milligrams of medication. So remember, on the liquids, you're never doing any kind of metric system equivalence. You're just using what you already know on that label, which is always going to involve the milligrams to ml. So we know that 10 milligrams is equal to 5 ml. And just as what we're trying to find, milligrams ml, so we need milligrams first, is to ml second. What do you know? You know you have 30 milligrams. We don't know how many ml we're supposed to get. That's our x. All right, next, get rid of your abbreviations. 10 is to 5, just as 30 is to x. Multiply the means and the extremes. 10 times x is 10x. 5 times 30. 10x is equal to 150. We divide by 10 on each side. 1x is equal to 15 ml. Okay? That's it. That's your answer. And then you would use your little cup to pour your 15 ml. And then you would give it to your patient. And that's it. This is the entire reason that we have learned and reviewed all the math we did. It's not my idea, but this is what we're required to teach you so that you know everything that leads up to getting us to these proportions and figuring out medication administration. Okay? That's it for today.